Hi guys, this is Kim with Patty Scrapper. So today I'm going to finish my second DT project for this month for ScraPerfect. I'm kind of doing this one in steps. So if you remember the other day, I made this little 3x3 note card box. And so I'm going to go ahead and make the cards for this. And I'm thinking I want to make some cute little envelopes. So I am going to get my cutting board. Oops, whoa. Okay, my cutting board. And I'm going to find some kind of color coordinating paper for these little cards. So they were kind of like browns, peaches were like chocolate, peaches, blues, and so my first card I'm going to make with peach. So, and for me, I'm going to make this, instead of going sideways, I'm going to have it, you know, I'm going to have it flip open from the bottom. So, I'm going to measure 3 and then 6. So 3 down, and then I'm going to guesstimate to about 6. These look so tiny. These are going to be super tiny. Okay. And I always score my paper first. And I was telling Kathleen about this the other day, why I do that. And it's because sometimes your scoreboards aren't lined up properly, or not your scoreboards, your cutters. Although I don't trust the scoreboard anyway. As we know, I don't trust this side of the scoreboard. I have no idea why, but for some odd reason, I think it's messed up. Okay, I hate to be disorganized, but it looks like, oh, here it is. I thought my daughter moved my stuff around because she does that a lot. Okay. So I'm going to line this up from here, and I'm going to move it over just a tad so that this little bump is not on my paper. Okay, so I got it pretty close. Then I'm going to do the same thing on this side too. Oh, I wish I had this color in a heavier cardstock. I really like cards to be in. Wow, that was freaky. Okay, sorry. Move that over a little bit. Oh yeah, as I was saying, I like to use heavy duty cardstock, you know, just like they do when you buy them from the store. So, okay, then I'm gonna score it at the 3. Okay. And then I'm going to flip it over. And I know some people will be like, okay, let's flip it this way. You know, it doesn't really matter. Now, you can edge this, ink it, and I think I'm going to do that. And I'm going to keep up with the walnut stain just because I had used it on the outside of the box. So, let me go ahead and do that real quick. Let me kind of bring this in a little bit here. Okay, so I've got that. Now we know that I've already used like the choo-choo train and stuff like that on the outside. So now I'm going to look at the paper stack. Come Away With Me by Graphic 45. This is the 8x8. And I'm gonna think, I really like this little plane here. I think that's super cute. This is in the browns. Or I could use this one. This one says, it's a little lady with a camera. She says there is a kind of magicness about her, There's a kind of magicness about going far away and then coming back all changed. Or you could do this, come away with me. But I'm not going to try to make it too difficult for myself, so I think I'm going to go with this, come away with me. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this piece out. Or didn't I? No, I already have one of these. Quick right. Okay, so sorry. My bad. I didn't even remember that. So it happens when I don't do my next tutorial the very next day. We kind of had a snowstorm here, and as you know, in Texas, we don't know what to do when there's snow and ice. So we just kind of stay at home. There was like this really cute parody that someone had shared on Facebook. I don't remember. I think it was Tamara. Oh no, it was my sister. Yeah, she posted it, and it was like really super cute. This guy was singing about how we just don't know anything about ice here in Texas, that we're hopeless. So, and it's true. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use all three of these because I really like them. So I'm going to start off with my blue. And I think I'm going to use this centerpiece right here. It says Cunard Line, New York, Liverpool, or Cunard. I don't know how you pronounce that, but anyway, I'm going to go with that. And I'm actually going to use this little strip too. Make sure it's lined up really good here. Sorry, I'm going to move this up a little bit, just. Perfect. That came out real good. And like I said, sometimes it'll still cut crooked anyway, and that's probably why it's better to score them first. Okay. Now, so I'm thinking I kind of want to pop this out a little bit, so I'm going to find some chipboard, and this measures, I think it's 2 inches. Oh, no, I lied. Okay. Let's see, it's gonna be, looks like 2 and 5/8. 2 and 5/8 by 2. So I'm gonna get my extra chipboard that I messed up. That's what I love about keeping it. Okay. And I said I was gonna, okay, so I'm gonna do it 2 inches first. I'm going to make a little tiny score line and a tiny score line. Whoa, okay. Got a hot mess going on here. Okay. Oh, go through there. Goodness. Unusual. Then I said it was 2 and 5/8. So I'll make a little, what do I do? Oh, there it is, my little bone folder. Make a little score line right there. And if you're familiar with making cards, you probably know this already, but I just wanted to do a tutorial for those who may not. I really just started getting into cards. At first, I just hated making them. I really did. Now, I love it. I know, isn't that crazy? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put walnut stain around the edges before I lay it down with the glue, my best glue ever. Okay, so let me see here. Where did my little piece go? Oh, here we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and edge this too. And I'm just doing the very edges. I'm not going to bring it in like I did on this one. I just want to accent the edge. Okay. Now I'm gonna get out my best glue ever. And I learned this the other day. If you do not clean your tips very well or at all, then it will break. So that was my fault. So I am just gonna have to wing it and kind of smear it on here. And that's how I do it. I mean, it's like super light on there. See that? Pretty light, not much to do. And then I'm going to lay my piece of paper on top. I'm going to take my bone folder and rub it in. Just to make sure it's on there good. Okay. So now here's where I'm going to think about how I'm going to do this. And luckily I didn't even measure it. You know, that's so crazy. I should have done that first. I didn't even measure it to see if this would fit in here. So, so you can either kind of, I don't know if I'm going to do it like this because now you can't see it. So maybe if I do the top a little bit and then the bottom, that should turn out pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it at the 3-inch line. Gonna measure 3 inches on here and cut, and then do it again because I'm going to do the bottom portion of it. I'm going to do it right on the 3-inch line. And then I'm going to put this aside because I save every scrap of paper. I don't know what my problem is. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and edge it. And I'm going a little bit in on this. I'm not just doing the very edge. I am kind of doing a little angle here where it leans in. I want to make sure that the darkness matches the other piece. Okay, so that looks good. So there's a few things you can do, okay? For me, I'm thinking, oh, you know what, I need to just do the very edges on the back piece. Okay. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out where I'm going to place this on here and how far I'm going to go because I want to see the words. I just don't know if both sides are going to fit now that I think about it. So if I do this, I may have to go all the way to the edges. And still it looks like I'm not going to be able to do the bottom piece like I wanted to. So instead, you have your option. You can have it this way where this is at the top, or you can do it this way where it's at. Ooh, and I think I like that. This way where it's at the bottom. Okay, so I'm gonna go with that. Let me go ahead and I want to kind of remember where I have it at, so I'm going to keep my finger there. And in the meantime, I'm going to put some glue down. If you're messy, you might not want to do it on top of your card. I have my good days and my bad days, so you never know. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open this up here and line it up properly. Smooth it down with my finger. And then I'm going to put my glue on the back of my chipboard. You really don't need a whole lot. I mean, you know, once you put it on, it's not really going to fall off, so. And it looks lined up. Beautiful. And I'm going to hold it down and rub at the same time so that it doesn't move around. And voila. I think it's so cute. Okay, I'm such a dork. I know. Maybe I should do this at the top. Is that too much? You know what? I kind of like that. Okay, so I decided to go against my rules and do something else. Okay, so I'm going to cut this at the 3-inch line. Let me measure it. And do it. Oops. Now you can't hardly even hold this piece down. It's so little. Okay. There we go. And see, this is where your tips come in handy, because had I not messed up my tip, this would be easy for me to do. So I'm going to have to do it this way instead and kind of dab a little bit of glue. And it's even too much because I don't have my tips. So, although I've ordered one, so she's got one coming for me. Okay, let me just edge this real quick. I'm not going to edge the bottom of it because it's actually going to be tucked underneath. There we go. Oops. Okay, so when you have fat fingers like me, I found that these little tweezers are very handy. And if you're careful and the glue doesn't seep out, you can use that as your bone folder instead. I'm just going to kind of trim off that little edge there. And of course it's crooked. Why? Why? No, I'm just kidding. It'll be alright. Okay. Let me see if I can move this down just a little bit. Tuck it more behind. Okay, now I am done with this baby. So, now do I make an envelope the same color as this? And I'm thinking, yes, I will. So, normally you probably wouldn't have to make an envelope, but I think envelopes are so cute when they're small. So, I'm going to whip up We Are Memories Keeper envelope thing. Okay. And let's see if they have a 3x3 card on here. Yes, they do. So the paper size needs to be 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have 1/4. I'm going to measure it down to about 5 1/2. Although it doesn't need to be that far, but my eyes, well, I think I got it actually. I did better than I thought. Okay, let me go ahead and cut it. Move it over a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it all the way down because I hate it when these things are still hanging on the paper. Okay. So I'm gonna follow along with the directions on here. So what it says is score line is at 2 5/8. So I'm going to line it up exactly on the 2 5/8, and I'm going to make a line and do it on all the sides right there, right on the line. Hope I'm not messing this up because I'll be really mad if I do. I'm probably going to mess this up because something doesn't seem right. Oops, okay. Then I'm going to take this side and put it in here. And it actually turned out pretty good. I think I did this one time before and I messed it up because I went too far up on the line. And I don't know why I did that. Because I'm a dork. Okay. Okay. I'm going to fold it over. And the lines. Okay. So I'm going to take my glue. And I'm going to make a dot here. I'm going to make a dot here. And that's it, just 2 dots. Remember, if you dot up there, you're gonna close it up and never be able to get it out of there. So, and if she wants to give this away, I want to make that possible for her. So then I'm gonna hold this in place for a minute, kind of rub it in there. And then I'm gonna do the same on this one. Or you can wait for it to dry, and I mean, really, that would probably be realistic. And then it just tucks in like that. And you're done. Isn't that super cute? I love it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of these 3, and then I will be back at the end. So I hope you enjoy the tutorial. Thanks. Hi guys, I'm back real quick. I decided to do a technique that I do sometimes with my ScraPerfect glue. So I've already put some of the glue on there, and on this edge I kind of went along with my walnut stain. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with some of this Perfect Pearls, and it's called Perfect Bronze. Okay, so I'm going to get my little brush. Now this will, you might not want to touch your brush, touch your glue here, because it is gonna stick to your brush. I don't mind because my brush is already ruined and I use this all the time, but if you use the use it for other things or whatever. You might not want to do this. But this is a really fun technique I like to do, because whenever I use that embossing powder stuff, the pad, it never works for me. It dries up like super quick. Every summer I've used one, it dried up by the end of the summer. So I'm going to put that back, and let me plug in my heat gun real quick. Sorry, I'm not so organized, but I normally have all this plugged in, but I was washing my floors, so I unplugged everything and was doing all my fun vacuuming. Okay, here we go. And if you want to, you might want to tap off some of this excess powder, because it's just going to blow all over the place. So I'm going to do that real fast. I'm going to get my heat gun and put it on there for a minute. I'm actually going to move it off here so a little closer so I can watch it. And when you see it kind of start bubbling up a little bit, just a tiny bit, that's all you got to do. And then it's pretty much ready to use. You know, let it cool off for a second so you don't burn your fingers. But I decided I kind of wanted to do like a little edge on here, and so I'm going to do that. I'll just go ahead and show you all real quick what I plan on doing with this. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Pick this up with my tweezers. Oops, that's okay. Okay, then I'm going to run a little bit of my glue on the back here. Especially on this area. The other area is going to be covered up anyway, so it doesn't really matter there. Put it to the side for a second. Come back here and then do my glue on that. And I'm actually not gluing it anymore. I'm just spreading the glue around with a tip. It's one of the things I like to do. And let me use my cuts here again. So I'm going to flip this around. Oops, not. Okay. Move this over to the very edge. And I'm going to kind of hold this down. See what happens when you don't hold it down properly. It's going to move around. And use my bone folder. It's probably easier to hold it down with this till it dries for a second. It doesn't. And then hold it down on the ends. And then you will be done. You move this down just a little bit more. There we go. Oops, see my fingers getting sticky when I get it on there. When I get it on my fingers. And I'm thinking, so what do I have here? So you can either use this again at the top, or you can use the blue, or you can use something else completely, which I think I'm going to do. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that technique real quick while I was at it, and I'll be right back.